Traders cannot dispel fears about the strange happening with the oil futures overnight. Wall Street is trying to grasp the point of negative oil quartz amid the coronavirus pandemic. The collapse of oil prices forces investors to reject risky assets, opting for the safety. The US dollar index perked up again and to jump above 100 points. Stock markets could not meet the challenge of negative oil prices. Today, futures on benchmark US stock indexes are extending the losing streak following the oil market. Futures on the Dow Jones lost over 2% in the early New York trade. The sharpest ever plunge in oil prices overnight affected US stocks. However, experts do not foresee similar market moves in the future. Traders are speculating that such a gap between futures contracts and spot prices is a good sign for the US equity market. The shock in Wall Street is likely to be short-lived. So the protracted nosedive is out of the question. On the contrary, a recovery of the WTI quartz is going to propel a rally of stocks in the energy sector. This will encourage an advance of the S&P 500, thus putting pressure on the US dollar. Meanwhile, crude oil is trading at multi-year lows despite a bounce today. Futures on WTI June contracts dropped under $14 a barrel. A lot of companies are facing bleak prospects. If stocks retreat, the US dollar will benefit from this as a safe haven asset. The only obstacle to the greenback's spike is the Fed Reserve. Today, the US dollar index surpassed the level of 100 and moved higher with the confidence. The US currency finds support from the shock events in the oil market and unconfirmed reports from North Korea. According to well-informed sources, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is in grave danger after surgery. This information propelled traders to opt for safe haven assets. The slump in oil prices dealt a blow to the Canadian dollar, thus disrupting its steady advance against the American rival. Having tumbled on Monday, the loonie is extending weakness. The USD CAD pair climbed to 1.4230, the highest level in 3 weeks. Oil companies both in Canada and the United States have incurred heavy losses from low oil prices. The ongoing collapse in the oil market could entail a number of bankruptcies in the energy sector. This week, Canada is due to post data on retail sales and inflation. The forecasts are pessimistic, though actual figures could not be this small. The only scenario for the USD CAD pair is the uptrend. On Tuesday, the weakest currencies are the Norwegian krone, the Canadian dollar and the Swedish krone. These currencies are vulnerable to global economic turbulence. The US dollar is going to enjoy beyond demand. However, traders will be poised to sell the US currency as soon as they see the green shoots of recovery on the global scale. That's all for today. We wish you profitable deals and we continue to monitor the financial market situation. Subscribe to our channel and keep abreast of the latest news. See you tomorrow.